another episode of Coder Conversations. This is Kevin.
And this is TC.
Hey man, how's it been going, man?
It's going. It's going. This week for me it's been tough. I've been doing like contract work and like my job has been busy, and so yeah, just trying to like find the time to like
Yeah,
do it all.
yeah, man. Same here. It's been release week, so it's pretty much where you got to have all the code ready and they get ready to deploy it to production. So if they really want a feature, you just got to stay up like super late and get it in there.
Yeah. Do you guys do like unit testing at all, or is it just like straight coding without unit testing?
I think on the back end they do unit testing, but on the front end they don't really require it. Probably because there's not enough resources, man. Like I'm literally the only front end guy on our particular project.
Mm,
While they got like 6 back end dudes. So
right.
I
And
mean,
is
me
that
personally, I think on unit testing only, it can only do so much on the front end. Anyways,
right?
they have a QA team that does end to end testing on the front end.
Okay. I was
What
just
do you think
curious.
about unit testing though? Like,
I met my first unit test last week
mm,
with my side work, and I was I what is it? We use what is it called, Jenkins, like a CI/CD or whatever. And so like whenever you make a commit to um, whenever you make a commit to a branch, like in order for it to like spin up, right? It'll go through the whole pipeline and it'll run all these tests. And if any of the tests fail,
yeah,
like
build it there.
it just marks it as failed. And so that was my first experience with tests. So now I'm like, okay, well, how does Jest work? How does this work? How does that work? So
Yeah,
I'm finally getting exposure to that. That's why I asked if you guys use it.
yeah. Angular has its own thing. It's I think it's like Karma is the test runner, and it uses Jasmine as an assertion language, where it says like expect such and
Hmm.
such to be this.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah,
unit tests are good for like pure functions, like you know, things that aren't interacting with the browser and stuff
right.
like that.
So for anybody who maybe like entry level, what's a pure function?
A pure function is it has this thing called referential transparency. It's basically where you don't have any state that reaches outside of the function. So there's no such thing as this dot such and such in the function.
Mm,
You put data in and you get data out. It doesn't reach outside of the function.
got it. Okay.
And those are the easiest ones to unit test because you don't have to really, deal with all this kind of state, like setting
Hmm.
up state, and it's, put something in, get something out, test the
Right.
result.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's
Um,
been super busy, man. But yeah, I've also started taking interviews, trying to find that next opportunity, man. I can't just sit around at the same job and not get pay raise and all of that.
how long you been there?
I've been there for about what was that, like over 2 years.
It's time to you feeling that
Yeah,
itch to leave.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. It was like just some of the offers that I've been coming across. I can't just sit here and not look
Say
at
no.
that. Yeah,
Right.
it's literally like 50, 60, $70,000 more. So I'll be
Right.
like an idiot to just
To say no.
yeah,
Yeah. That's that's kind of how I've been feeling. Like not so much like uh for the money, right? The money's nice,
mhm,
but it's just like if the opportunity is there, why pass it up, right?
right,
So like the dude that you helped me like reach out to me, like Ryan or whatever, we were chopping it up for a minute,
yeah,
and it's a cool dude.
yeah, yeah,
It's a cool dude, and like he was personable, and I like that, and I feel like I would not have made that connection, right? That networking connection if I didn't take that call. So
yeah,
I feel like anybody who may be getting like who like if you're gonna get a recruiter reaching out to you, just listen and hear what they have to say, even
yeah,
if it doesn't go anywhere, right? At least you listened, and
right,
sometimes they can even give you advice on your resume.
Exactly.
I think I revamped my resume like 4 or 5 times last year. Like after like a bunch of people saw it and was like, "Hey, change this. Take this out. Make it shorter or whatever." Like I can't understand this. Like, yeah, I got a bunch of advice, and I think my resume is a lot stronger now.
Exactly. Yeah, with the whole recruiting situation, it's been pretty interesting, man. They had the story about the one lady who she had a maximum budget of 130K, but she
Yeah,
only gave the woman 85K. She's like, no, that's all she asked for. It's not
right.
my job to help her negotiate, and she ended up getting fired from her job.
Yeah, I would say like don't. I feel like that's where like she put that online. She put that on social media, right?
She posted it on LinkedIn.
Yeah, man. You don't got to share everything.
Yeah,
Like I feel like this the world that we live in now, people feel like they need to share everything, and especially like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your professional. It's not Twitter. It's
yeah,
not Facebook. It's not Instagram or Snapchat, right? But even then, you want to separate, right? And we talked about this. Like you got to separate
yeah,
your professional look versus your who you are after five
yeah.
o'clock, right?
Yeah,
Like
we pretty much talked about, like, even on Twitter and all that. You can't just post anything. It's like a big database. Everything you
yep,
say or do, somebody can
hmm
reach back and say, "Hey, look at what he said," and
yep,
you end up getting fired. It's
yep, yeah, man. You got to be careful. Yeah, Twitter's also adding downvotes. I don't know if you saw that.
no,
They're
no.
beta testing downvoting.
Is
Uh,
isn't that interesting how they're adding it, but YouTube took it away from the videos?
yeah, yeah. But I think it's gonna just be the same. They call it ratioing. I think where
Yeah.
like somebody's reply will get more attention than the original post will get,
Mm,
and so like that's considered being ratioed. I think I could be wrong, but that's my understanding anyway. And I feel like if tweets and stuff just get massively downvoted, right? Like it it yeah, like it's almost like a point and laugh type of situation. Like, oh man, look at how many downvotes this post has or whatever.
right.
Um, I I just think that there's no if you take away like downvotes and you take away the visibility of it, then of course you can't see if it's something that you want to interact with or not. Like, you know what I mean? Like especially for YouTube, right? Let's talk YouTube for a second. YouTube took away the dislike counter because people were like they say people were harassing or just maliciously going after certain content creators and just downvoting their content. But like like you said, I think you had mentioned it or somebody had mentioned it. If I'm looking up like how to fix a bug on Windows or how to fix something for my camera, I don't want to go through a bunch of videos that maybe don't get to the point or they might be bad. Show me the best video that has the least number of downvotes and like the most number of likes. Like, because then based on that, I'm thinking, okay, this guy might be legit. I might want to watch this guy's video.
Yeah,
But if the video has like 10,000 dislikes and 1 or 100 likes, I'm not gonna watch that video. But if I can't see it, how can I tell?
yeah. Yeah, I think they really implemented that more so to protect the mainstream media. A lot of people starting to downvote their stuff.
Oh,
You know,
really?
yeah, because
Hmm.
at a certain point, I guess they feel like they're just hearing propaganda or whatever. So it's like, no,
Mm.
so they just boop, just took it out. But
Yeah.
yeah, going back to that recruiting situation, man. Like, have you ever had a recruiter that said, "Hey, you're asking for like 30K, too little money. I'm gonna submit you at 140 instead."
Way back when, like way, way, way back when I first started,
Mm,
like on my LinkedIn journey, I definitely was like lowballing myself.
yeah.
And I would ask for just like, oh, I want like 50, 60, whatever. Like, oh,
Mm,
well, that's that's kind of small. You sure? Like maybe you can do 70 or 80 because
Yeah,
their recruiters make money off of your first year's worth of salary,
yeah,
right? So essentially, they want you to make money, make as much as they should. They should want you to make as much as you want or as much as
yeah,
the budget allows. That way, they reap the benefit, right? Because even then, I heard that the money that they make isn't going directly to their pockets. It goes to whoever they work for, and then it's split amongst
mm,
whoever, and they get a percent. The actual recruiter only gets a percentage of that whatever check that they make.
right.
They don't get the full amount. So, um, yeah, man, I feel like she shot herself in the foot by just sharing too much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad she did share because a lot of people are undervaluing themselves, man. Like, even with some of my experiences recently, it's like, I'm kind of in a position where I'm not like really looking for a job, so I'm able to say no.
Mhm.
And I find out like once I say no, like they say, hey, you want like 70 an hour? I'm like, no, no thanks. I'm not. That's around like what I'm making now, so it wouldn't make sense. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
how about 85? I'm like,
yeah,
where did that come from? Like, why don't you offer me
right.
that first?
Yeah,
So it's like you have that ability to say no. That's how you can like start getting more of the limits. Because I don't know, for me, it seems like they'll try to shoot a lower offer until I say no, no thanks, and then they'll come back with a higher one.
mm,
You got to do
yeah.
that, and you have to have multiple offers, and you kind of make the companies bid amongst each other. That's
If
like
you can get that far,
yeah,
if you can get that far, yeah, you got to be a rock star to get to that
yeah,
point.
yeah, man. It's kind of like why LinkedIn visibility is so important, man. Just so you can kind of have a bunch of eyes on you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Networking is important too.
Yeah,
Being personable, like we're all people at the on the other sides of these screen names, on the other side of a username, like as a person. So like, uh, if somebody's reaching out to you, like, just be mindful enough to just listen, right? Even if you're gonna say no. I've had
mhm.
some people reach out to me, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, I'll listen. Like, I'm not interested in a new position right now, but I'll listen to what you have to say.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll say, you know what, let's keep in touch because you never know what'll happen,
yeah.
right?
You never
So
know.
I'd rather make the connection versus like just saying no, like
Yeah, yeah,
rejecting because it doesn't help. It helps nobody. I don't help
right.
myself by just by blocking myself from that new opportunity that could happen. So,
Exactly.
um, and then also the flip side works as well. Like if you don't take the shot, you'll never know,
Right.
right? I recently got rejected by GitHub, right? Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool, whatever, right? But if I never took that shot, if I never reached out, I would have
that's
never known.
100% failure at that point.
So
Like you for
yeah,
sure
so like
failure.
I would have never known. So yeah, you just gotta take that shot, man. Like and get ahead of the ball instead of like playing yourself and be like, oh man, they're gonna want this, they're gonna want that. Just ask, hey, what's up? How's it going? Y'all hiring? That's it. I mean, you don't gotta say it like that. Please don't say it like that. But like,
Right.
there's like those are the three bullet points. Just reach out, say hi, how you doing, or whatever. Are
Yeah.
are you hiring or I saw a job listing I'm interested in.
But yeah, man. Speaking of taking that shot, it seems like Facebook first shot into the metaverse ain't doing too good, man. They get posted what 10 billion in losses. I think people are kind
Yeah,
of skeptical of Facebook. Like Facebook's kind of looked at as like the old person social network. So and people don't
yeah.
trust them. So it's like, do I want to go into their digital world?
I heard that they're having a really tough time against TikTok. Um, they're having a
Oh
really
yeah,
tough time like adjusting to that uh, to I guess the attention of TikTok. Like we mentioned before, like there's only like so much time in a day, right? So like the sites that you do visit regularly, right? They take up your time. That's your interaction, right? Man, like even though Facebook is around and they have Facebook groups and all that stuff, like I
yeah,
just think that there's so many other apps that do it better,
Yeah, I
and
think
they yeah.
people are kind of getting away from text. They're more into video. It seems like message boards is kind of like the old school thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Message boards are super old school. Facebook isn't open enough, I guess you could say.
Hmm.
Like TikTok is super open from what I've
Yeah,
seen, and Instagram not so. Yeah, yes, no, but I feel like TikTok is like super open, where like
yeah.
the
You
the
see a lot of
data is
people.
just. Mm,
See a lot of people. You normally don't come. Like you don't have to be following somebody to see that kind
right, right, exactly. It's like a fast food or like a buffet of
of. Yeah,
food. Every time you log onto the app, you just have so much variety and so much different
yeah,
uh, content that you can interact with or look at, and like I feel like yeah, you can't compete with that. It's so
right.
much. It's so easy to just okay. I watched a 1 minute video, swipe up. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, and I've caught myself doing it like with the whole YouTube Shorts,
Yeah,
where like if okay, a video is a minute long, okay, boom, done. Swipe up. A minute
yeah,
long, swipe up. A minute long, swipe up, and then I look up and it's 30 minutes later. It's almost like it's just little hits of dopamine over and
yeah,
over and over again. I don't have to
yeah.
sit through a 5 minute, 10 minute video to get that same interaction or that same feeling. So
Yeah,
yeah,
people
man.
like seeing they like seeing something new and different.
Hmm.
That's kind of like where TikTok excels. Like on Facebook, it's kind of like you see the same people
Yep.
that they are in your list. They're talking about the same stuff. It's like,
Right.
okay, this is kind of old. I don't feel like hearing these guys complaining about their job or showing pictures of their kids. Just, you know what I mean? With TikTok, it's like, oh, okay, this is new. This is new. It's like I don't know this person. This is new. Let me follow them. Like
Hmm.
I think that's how these new companies, or these social media companies, they want to really excel. They gotta stop trying to put you in this little box and leaving you there. You know what I mean? Like let people see something different than what they've been already exposed to. Because like you notice how like on YouTube, you go on your front page is pretty much stuff that they think that you like based on stuff you put before. I know TikTok kind of does it, but at least with TikTok there's a probability you'll see like something you haven't seen before.
Mm. Um. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of YouTube stuff is like it's finally like you said, it's a fine tooth comb. It's like this is your taste, this is what you like, and this
Yeah,
is what you're gonna see.
exactly.
Sometimes you'll get a little something different in the mix, but 90% of the time you're just gonna see the same thing
Yeah,
that you've looked up and things that are slightly interested in or slightly related to what you're interested in. But I feel like you said, like that whole I don't know what the algorithm is like, but
yeah,
to be able to just swipe and keep going, like
right.
that tree of data has to be massive.
Yeah,
Like to come up with something that just says, okay, swipe and find something that's somehow related to this previous post and keep
yeah,
going.
yeah. I find like YouTube like maybe 10 years ago was like much more open and free and interesting. Like you don't really hear a lot of memes come from YouTube anymore because I guess
Right.
everybody's locked into their little sector. So you don't just come across like a random guy making some crazy video anymore. It's like everybody has a professional thumbnails, professional clickbait titles, and
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
I think that's why people are going to TikTok and seeing the more organic stuff, like just somebody just holding their phone up and creating something like just natural, like not like overly scripted. That's what people want, I think.
Yeah. They want something natural. They want content that's not uh yeah, I could see that. I could see a lot of like content on YouTube being more polished,
Yeah.
less like you said, less authentic. Like MKBHD and like Linus Tech Tips and
Mm,
a lot of larger names are more uh, high quality,
Yeah,
less down to earth, gritty. It's almost like
TV.
Newgrounds. I don't know if you've been around like Newgrounds for a while. Like there's a website called newgrounds.com, and they have like
I remember you used to have all the
before.
Flash games on there.
Yeah, they used to have a bunch of like flash games, and like that was a really hot site back in the early
Yeah.
2000s. And so, like, I feel like these trends come and go, right? We're like, okay, it's hot, and then
Mm.
it tapers off, and then like, but what it's known for, right, is like, okay, flash games and flash
Mm.
animations, and then that wave passes. It's still popular, but it's almost like niche, and I feel like
Mm.
YouTube was really white hot for a while, and
Yeah.
that was popular, like way back when there was like uh, uh, equals three and like Ray William Johnson. I mean, the same person. Wait, equals three, Ray William Johnson and Shane Dawson and Smosh and like Epic Mealtime. All those creators that were like blowing up at the time, right?
Mm.
And then like YouTube kind of migrated and like went corporate,
Yeah.
right?
That's what
And
ruined it.
so once it went corporate, then it just kind of just like yeah, some there's still creators on YouTube and stuff like that, but it still feels very, I don't know, it feels very just
It was kind of neutered to me. Like you remember, it used to be the Wild Wild West. Like people
yeah,
could go on there and say anything.
yeah, yeah. Now it feels just it doesn't feel like itself anymore.
Yeah, it kind of feels like TV. Like it's scripted. You can't get too much out of the line, or else you're gonna lose your monetization. Maybe the
Yeah,
monetization aspect of it kind of ruined it to an extent because people are less focused on just saying what's
yeah,
on their mind and more so to making algorithm beating content. Like,
hmm, yeah. I can see that. I think that's what it is, and I think to finish it off, I think like because they've made that curve and they're more corporate now, TikTok has
mhm,
taken over. TikTok has taken up that mantle
yeah,
of raw organic content that people
mhm.
can relate to, that is easy to digest, and constantly just feeding the user
So
content.
here's an interesting content. If LinkedIn monetized, how do you think that would change the platform?
How would you?
Like what monetize LinkedIn?
I mean, yeah, like how would you?
Just kind of like based on video views, views of posts, things like that. Like say, okay, you could get like have your post sponsored if but you have to get a certain amount of views or whatever.
I can't see that happening. I can't see how would you suppress, like, okay, for every yin there's a yang, right? So let's say, for example, like you have to get 10,000 whatever impressions on your post in order to become sponsored, right? Let's say you do become sponsored.
Hmm.
Then does my feed on LinkedIn now, instead of me having to follow somebody in order to see their post on my feed, is my
Just
feed just going to be spammed with people that I might be interested in because I post about certain things? Is that how that would work?
so I guess like okay, say you have like 100,000 followers and
Right,
they kind of kick your posts out every month. You're getting like 2 million views. I
right.
guess how they would monetize it is like they put like a little advertisement thing above your post or something, or a company will actually pay you to say, hey, mention our product. I think that would kind of like ruin the platform to a certain extent.
Yeah, it would run the platform. Because you introduce like, it's almost like introducing not introducing, but it's almost like how on Twitter, where or like on Instagram or whatever,
Mm.
somebody is sponsored by somebody, and if a post is an ad, they have to mention that the post is an ad within the
Yeah.
content, right? So it's like, oh my gosh, I've used Expo Sharpie markers because Expo is the best. When I write on my whiteboard, it's there.
Yeah.
It leaves no streaks. Blah blah blah. Hashtag ad. Right. Then like I've seen some people when they reply to those posts, it's like, man, like I was like, oh, you sold out, or oh,
Yeah.
you're you're doing ads now. It's there's repercussions. Like the fans that they
Mhm.
had are probably gonna just like backfire.
Yeah. The moment you open that gate up, people are gonna go for the money, just like YouTube, just like TikTok or anything. Like there's a bag of money sitting there. It's gonna
Yeah.
be irresistible for a lot of people. So
Yeah.
that's when you're gonna get the the clickbaity type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can already kind of see it, like where they, everybody has a story for every situation. Like how I lost my leg and how I still ran a marathon. Like, come on.
Yeah. Right.
Like, so yeah, I think LinkedIn probably is better as is.
Yeah. They probably have. Are they owned by Microsoft? Let me
Yeah,
see.
they're actually owned by
They are.
Microsoft.
Okay.
GitHub is too, interesting enough.
Yeah, I don't think I can't see it being monetized anytime soon in some weird way.
Nah,
I think the only form of monetization that they have is LinkedIn Premium, where you can see the recruiters and stuff who look at your posts or who look at your profile. Isn't that it? Isn't that a thing? What is that?
Yeah, that's a little subscription model, LinkedIn Premium. But yeah, they don't have any option for creators to get monetized. What they how creators make money on there or whatever is it seems like they sell their coaching services or something like come follow me and learn how to
Right.
learn X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but Microsoft they've been buying they own a lot actually, like GitHub, LinkedIn. Now they're like super heavy in the gaming space. What do you think about all the companies buying up stuff? Like Sony kind of I don't know if they necessarily retaliated, but they bought up Bungie.
I don't like it. I can see the benefit in certain cases right now, like because like BattleNet / Activision, right? They were, I think we talked about that several times, right? They were going through the motions where all this fraternity stuff was popping up, and they had all this backlash and all this drama. I feel like Microsoft acquiring them will hopefully shake up that tree and get rid of the bad apples, right? Like, and I say hopefully, meaning like, okay, maybe, I don't know what the restructure is going to look like if they are going to restructure, but I feel like it might hurt gaming more than it'll help because if you start to, let's say, okay, they buy Activision, right? Okay, they bought Call of Duty essentially, right? What if they force, or they, all these IP that they now own, or what if they just say, okay, now all these are Xbox exclusives, right? Then that's just going to divide the game, like gaming more.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll just do more damage because, to me, I saw the Xbox and the PlayStation 5 as like they're essentially equal in horsepower, essentially equal in graphics power. They're just two different boxes, right? But then once you start to divide the like, because they're so equal, I was thinking, okay, maybe there's going to be more multi-plat games because they've got the same horsepower, they've got similar levels of graphics power and speed, right?
Yeah.
Minus the Xbox Series S. But I thought, okay, like let me just say this, and I'll stop here. I feel like multi-plat is the way to go for more companies. The more people that are playing the more people that have the opportunity to play your game, the better. And if you just start buying up companies, and forcing those companies to only make games for your console, you hurt the gamer's experience. Because now it's like you go back to the early 2000s of it's either PlayStation 2 or Xbox or GameCube. And the only way to experience all of that is to have all three. If I didn't have an Xbox, I couldn't play Splinter Cell. If I didn't have a PlayStation, I couldn't play Devil May Cry or Kingdom Hearts. Like you're at $60, $70 a game, you're forcing people to choose one or the other instead of being able to play both.
Right. Yeah, I think one of the big issues also is the streaming stuff that they're pushing. Like, you have two companies that own all the other gaming companies, and they're pushing all their games on a streaming service. Initially, it might be cool, like paying $20 a month, and I have access to all of these games, on this particular service. But once the competition is gone, they're gonna keep on ramping up the cost. Like recently, Amazon Prime, they just raised up the price. I think it's an extra $20 a month now. So,
Wow.
like they get you hooked early with these low prices, kill off the competition, and then
Bump up
it's
the
kind of
price.
like like renting a house or something. Like your landlord is free to raise the price whenever they want to.
Yeah.
But once alternatives are removed, what are you gonna do? You have to go here to get your gaming fix. And
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, man. I never thought of it like that. It's like if I didn't have Amazon Prime, where would I go?
right. So if like Microsoft and Sony own all the gaming companies, and they say, okay, you can only we're going to stop releasing games people can buy. All of our stuff is just going to the streaming platform. Like, you know what I mean? We're pretty much stripped of ownership, and it's like that's not a good gaming future for me.
Right. I feel like we're not considering the fact that people don't want to, or we're not considering people that may not want to stream something. If I don't have internet, I know that I can dust off a Nintendo 64, plug in Super Mario 64, turn it on, blow the cartridge, turn it on, and play it. I don't need an internet connection.
Yeah.
And I feel like people take for granted the fact that if the internet's ever off, all these services that you have are no good. And so maybe it's just my generation, like not growing up with, internet at my fingertips with my phone. But I just feel like I need to physically own the game. If I'm going to buy something, let me physically own it. Exactly. Unless it's going to be on like Steam or something. But even then, I'll have enjoyed it up to a point, right? I'll have enjoyed. If Steam ever goes down, then it goes down, right? I can't do anything about it. I'm not attached to that in order to have fun, right? And so, but I feel like if I can physically have the game, or if I can physically have the video DVD or whatever, I'd rather have that than the license to play it on a streaming service.
Yeah, we kind of a lot of these kids or whatever, they're kind of missing out, because you remember like gaming back then, you would go to the store, look at got a cool little case.
Yep.
Your parents get it for you. You can't wait to like you're in the car, you're ripping it open, looking at the instruction manual.
Get the manual, get the case, look at the back, read all the back, look at the art, look at the little mini screenshots that are in the corner of the case. Look at the rating, look at like, oh, it's rated T because of this, and this. Yeah, man. Read the little manual. It's all gone, man. I think the magic of gaming is gone.
Yeah.
I think people because now you can easily tweet at the developer who made the game. Then it's like, I'm gonna tell them that their game sucks, or they need to do this better, or they missed out on this, they missed out on that. Back in the day, Legend of Dragoon was Legend of Dragoon, regardless of the hiccups or the freezes or the bugs or whatever. You pop the game in, you spin it up, you blow on your memory card, you plug that memory card in, you hit load, and then that's it. That's your experience.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have, and when I was done with it, I was done with it. But I thoroughly enjoyed the game. If I could
Yeah.
tweet at the person and say, "Hey, thanks for the game," cool. But if I was disappointed in the game, the only person that was disappointed was me. I couldn't walk around. I mean, yeah, I could probably walk around, moping and sad and stuff, but I wasn't gonna like attack the person online.
Yeah, I've heard like a lot of developers they kind of feel like the gaming scene is kind of toxic. Like if this game doesn't have all the features they want or has a bug, oh yeah, you developers are lazy. When these guys
Right.
are probably working 14, 15 hours for months a day, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Every day for months for crunch time and just like sleeping under their desk. But some random guy online saying, "Oh yeah, you're lazy."
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, they did that with Battlefield 42. Did you hear that?
No,
They
they hear about
they
it.
they pushed back this update that was supposed to happen. Like, so Battlefield 42 is going through 2042. Sorry, Battlefield 2042 is going through like that. They just released their game earlier this year, possibly last year. Let me look it up. But they released their game recently, and they like it's got a lot of bugs. It's got a lot of bugs, and the player base is sort of like dying out.
Mhm.
There's rumor that they're gonna go free to play soon.
Hmm.
Um, but they were getting like all these people were hitting them up on Twitter and like, oh, you guys are lazy, you guys suck. Like
Yeah.
they were saying after they released the game, they they all the developers were gonna go on vacation. And so people
Mhm.
were tweeting at them like, "Oh, instead of giving us updates, instead of giving us community feedback, or instead of giving us a timeline of when you guys are expected to fix these bugs and
Yeah.
updates and stuff, you guys are gonna go on vacation. You guys are lazy." It's like,
Yeah.
dude, you guys don't understand what it takes.
Yeah. Game development is probably one of the most difficult forms of programming, like extremely difficult.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Um,
they're lazy. Speaking of toxic culture, man, I've been hearing a lot of stories filtering out of Amazon. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, yeah. Also, yeah, that's a good side note. Yeah, Amazon. I've gotten hit up by Amazon a couple times this year, and I always reply, "No, thank you." I'm
Hmm.
hoping that I don't get any more recruiters reaching out to me. I'm hoping that I can either like take my email off your mailing list or something because I have no interest. Like
Yeah.
there's a guy who lives in my building, and he used to work at Amazon, and he was telling me like, man, like it was not worth it. It's the way that they make you work is just
Yeah.
it's not healthy. It's not fun.
You have something called a PIP culture. You know what that is?
Yeah. So the performance improvement plan.
Improvement plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they, I believe like they have to put a certain percentage of programmers on that, like
Really?
every month or so. Like that's like kind of like the hidden secret, like this. So it's pretty much like turning over what they feel are like insufficient programmers, like the lower tier. They're kind of like cutting
Wow.
them. So it's almost like constant pressure on your back, like perform, 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 or
Then
you
once
get
they break, you just churn them out and replace
with the
them with somebody
axe.
else.
Yep.
Damn,
So
that's
yeah, it's crazy, man.
no. What's the benefit? Like,
I guess for Amazon, to them, it's like that we're getting the best guys. Like we're it's like it's almost like the NFL. Like these bottom of the roster guys, they get cut.
right?
I think that
Still,
just like
man,
ruins the morale.
right? It's not. I think what people have to realize is that even though you can code, even though yeah, that it's your craft, and you might think that you're a rock star or whatever, you're on a team. The
Yeah,
energy that you bring to that team, the personality you bring to that team, it's not just affecting you, it's affecting everybody else.
Yeah.
team lead, all your coworkers, whoever you work closely with from a day-to-day basis, that energy feed it, they feel that, especially
Right.
if you were working like in an office before working from home. I don't know how it is now. Like if I was like fresh, meaning like if I was new to a company and I had to work from home, uh, I think there would be a disconnect because I don't really know that person. But
Mhm.
maybe over time you can kind of form a relationship, meaning like you could form like
Yeah.
camaraderies and like stuff. But um, yeah, man, like that doesn't help anybody. And I get it. You want to like churn them over and get you have a revolving door of developers, but
Yeah.
like
Well, I've heard that kind of creates like this like ultra competitive culture to where the people aren't helping each other because the guy next to him, it's like I'd rather him get pipped than me. So why would I help him out? That's kind of like the culture it creates, it like a
I'm good.
backstabbing, look out for self type of culture.
I'm good.
Was it you that I was talking about? We had seen this Reddit post where it's like guy was talking about like I think one of these companies is gonna get removed from Fang because like
That's what it was.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, because they were gonna get removed from Fang because of the Is this it?
Like a turnover, like
The turnover rate was so high. Yeah,
yeah.
yep, yeah, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. You could just because you can't keep they couldn't keep developers enough. People are like hella burnt
Mhm.
out, and they've even started asking. Dang, they took it down.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Oh, come on. They took it down.
Yeah, yeah, you know,
I should have took a screenshot of it.
yeah, it's not surprising, man. But yeah, I think in somewhat the somewhat near future, Fang is kind of gonna fall out the spotlight. Some a newer crop of companies gonna kind of pop up, or just because like I haven't heard great things about working at most of these companies. Like I haven't heard like particularly bad things about Google. Google is more so like people feel like they're a tiny like cog in a giant machine.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I found it by the
Amazon
way.
was that?
I found the post by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like one of the things is about to internally implode. This is
Yeah,
8 days ago. It says I've been here for 3 years and I'm getting the hell out this month. I wanted to stay until my fourth year, but I can't do it anymore. People getting pipped left and right. Work life balance is getting worse and worse by the
yeah,
day. Managers literally yelling at their developers on a daily basis. Feeling like my coworkers are competition and I need to beat them to win. The the interview process is getting easier and easier because we can't find people due to the horrible reputation.
yeah.
Most
Sounds
of our
like Amazon.
technical screens are literally reworded leak code easies, and we are still having issues finding enough people. A lot of the new people end up getting pipped and then fired. Sometimes they manage to get out before that happens
Mhm.
and join a good team, but it is hard to find a good team these days. I have switched teams several times, but the bad teams outweigh the good teams by sheer numbers and percentage. So it's very difficult to find a good team. I'm getting out. I can't stand it here. I would urge anyone considering this company to think twice. Study a little harder and get into one of the other fangs. I genuinely foresee this company being demoted from a fang. The culture is absolutely horrible, and the barriers to entry are lower than ever. Most of my coworkers are depressed and mentally exhausted and extremely burnt out. I genuinely do not know a single soul who wants to stay here, and I know a lot of people here.
Yeah. Like I personally guessed Amazon or Netflix because I kind of heard similar things about Netflix, but that more so really sounds like Amazon.
Yeah, it could
Have
be.
you heard?
Hmm.
What have you heard about Facebook? Have you heard like bad working conditions? To me, Facebook more so seems like it's kind of like falling out of vogue with users, but I haven't heard it's like a bad place to work.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of those, like when you apply for those companies, like that that salary comes at a price,
Yeah, exactly.
and that price is your potentially your mental health and your physical health.
Yeah.
And so, like, I never want to get to that. I never want to get. Let me not say I never want to get that high. I never want to put myself into a situation that I'll sacrifice my mental health for money.
Yeah.
To sacrifice my physical health for money. It's just not worth it. Uh,
I
yeah,
think a lot of people are like more strategic about things, like get in for a year, get that big salary, get out, and then do a create a coaching company, telling other people how to get in or something. You see a lot of ex Fame, ex Google, ex Facebook, and they kind of leverage that to blow up their YouTube or whatever. So
yeah.
I think that's like maybe a year long investment. Maybe could you do that for a year?
Uh, if I could survive,
Hmm.
I'd have to have a system in place. Like if I ever reach that point of like I'm about to burn out,
Yeah.
be able to like recover. I feel like I'm slowly working on that, like with
Hmm.
working out and socializing and stuff like that. But I don't want to test it just yet. I guess you could say.
Yeah. Okay, so
Um,
like, okay, say Amazon was like, yeah, we'll bring you on, but you knowing all of the stuff that you do about them, how
hmm,
would you cope? Like, if you had to do a year there, like, what would your
I had to do it a
strategy?
year there. I'd have to tell my family.
Mm-hmm.
But like I had to explain them to them like I'm about to go through like what do they call it, Hell Week in college, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I'm about to go through Hell Week for a year at Amazon, and it's gonna be rough. And y'all might not see me for a while, but I'm gonna send up SOS signals every once in a while. Like, Kevin might hit me up like, "You good? Yeah, I'm good."
right.
Like just those little things. Because man, like maybe it's just the the stigma, I guess you could call it,
Mhm.
right? The bad press or whatever. But like from what I hear, I just don't want to work there.
Right.
I don't want
So
to
like,
work in an
okay,
environment where people's yelling at me.
right. So after a year, you have like 300K in the bank. Like, what would your plan be? Like after you got
I'm
out?
out. I'm out. Take a break. Take a long ass break.
Yeah.
300K. Yeah. Stack and act broke, man. Like just stack the bread and act broke. And then
Yeah.
once that year is over, all right, cool, I'm out. Pip me or whatever. That's all good. I'm out. I'm
Yeah.
taking a long break. I'm heading down to Honduras, and I'm taking a long break, man.
Yeah, man, I probably try to, use that as a down payment on the house, some of it, and then use the rest to start like a business or something.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of housing, I'm gonna start looking for a place soon.
Okay,
Um,
like to rent or buy.
I'm looking. I'm trying to buy it.
You probably have to move
Uh,
down south or something, or Mississippi.
I'm looking at. I'm gonna start looking at duplexes. I don't
Okay,
know if it's gonna be out here or where, but
yeah,
we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. Because this is gonna be my last year here, and yeah, come like October, November, I'll have to have a new place.
yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, it makes sense to eventually own something, man. Because people are getting hammered on the rents. Like I've heard around here, like certain people, rent rolls like $400 or something. You know what I mean?
Dang, that's crazy.
So it's just like I think we're in for a housing market crash soon because I don't really see how people are all affording like $600,000 houses. Like you know what I mean? So I think it's more like big institutional investors and stuff. They're buying up the houses and kind of like putting everybody on a subscription model with that. Like
Yeah, I can see
I
that.
think that's what companies want. Like have everybody rent into perpetuity. Nobody owns anything. Like think of Adobe. You can't buy Photoshop or any of that.
Yeah, I'm
Like
kind of mad about that.
You can't even buy Microsoft Office. I don't think it's all subscription now.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Unless you
Yeah.
crack it. Can you crack it? Like the old days?
Well, I think everything's like online kind of now, like the
That's lame.
cloud stuff. So yeah, man, it's pretty crazy, man. So it's like if you got an opportunity to buy something, yeah, go for it. Well, what prices have you been seeing? Like the range?
Out here, like around 700K to like
1 million.
1.1, yeah, one like a million and up. Um, but I'm not sure how a lot of this works. So I really
Mhm.
just started like the idea just popped into my head as far as like starting to look and see what
Yeah.
prices are like and see what the buildings actually look like. Because it's not gonna be me by myself. It's gonna be like me with my sister. Um,
Okay.
but the idea is that we're gonna have our own separate like homes essentially.
Mhm.
That's why the duplex
Okay.
and and like I'm 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 hoping that I have enough as far as like annual salary to be able to. I'm pretty sure I can. It's just getting that first home buyer's loan and stuff like that, and making sure that that pops off. Uh, yeah, yeah. All this is just like in the ether. It's nothing's like concrete just yet.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Just
kind of
throwing stuff
just
around. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much doing the same thing, man. It's kind of like why I want to get, the YouTube and all, these multiple streams of income popping off. Cause like $1 million debt, that's kind of crazy, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, so it's almost like, just pure salary alone, that's not going to cut it. You're going to have to have like some kind of income stream that's untethered from the amount of hours you're working. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah, yeah. I need to write that down and write it on my wall.
what's
So I'm not
that?
just
Multiple income stream.
yeah, yeah, because I'm still trying to do everything off of one, and
Yeah.
it's all right, right? But it's just all right. It's not.
Yeah.
Uh,
You remember,
it's
like back in the day, we felt like, oh man, 80K, oh that's amazing, man. You
mhm.
ball. Now it's like a middle class. Almost feel like it's like lower middle class even,
I think
depending
it
on where
depends on where
you're
you
at.
live.
Yeah,
It depends on where you live.
like San
Um,
Francisco, that's definitely like lower middle class.
yeah.
LA, I guess that's what like middle, pretty much.
He, how much?
80K.
Yeah, middle-ish. I could see that. I have to look it up. I gotta look up the numbers. Like, um,
So like, you can live pretty, you can live good, decent on there, but it's not like okay, I'm just stacking like crazy.
yeah, it's middle class. Yep.
Well, what do they say is upper middle class in that area?
Um, let's say
Like 140 or something.
135.
Okay.
Yeah, 135. Considered rich person in the top. Yeah, yeah,
135 rich.
yeah. It says that in LA you'll need to earn 135 or more to be considered a rich. The rich is in quotes. A rich
Yeah, bro.
person in the top 20% of cities nearing 4 million residents. The ultra rich, or the 5% of the earners in LA make way more. 516. What? According to
How,
the analysis,
how much do they make?
516K,
Like
500K.
half a million, pretty much.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I guess it's not that impossible. Like if you get a good Fang salary and then you get
Who
like
thrives at Fang though? I
that's
can't.
why
I don't.
that's why you see so many ex Fangs and they got a YouTube channel. Be selling the shovel. They guys come over here. You want the Fang?
I got you.
Yeah. How many active Fang employees do you see like starting these
Listen,
coaching businesses, trying to tell people to get in? It's always
They're
X.
they're too busy. They're working 16 hours a day.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I think this is a good place to stop.
Yeah.
What you think?
Yeah, man. Coming up on an hour, so we'll catch y'all next time.
All right. Peace, people.
Peace.